All right, onwards we go. So we are now familiar with the, come back over here with the Polypteriformes, the Serpentariformes. Now we get to our different name, different sounding name. So Neopterygiae, holostay, right? Holostay. I'm going to use the term here, Lepisostiformes and Emeiformes. So the Gars and the Bowfins. So we're down here. So we looked at the shears, polypterids, our sturgeons, and now we're here at this branch here. So the Lepisostids and then the Emeids. So Lepisostiformes, the Gars, and the Emeiformes, the Bowfins. So crazy names, I know, it's hard to keep track of all of these, but interesting fish as well. And I say this a lot because all of these fish are interesting. Right? They're unique, and they're part of the evolutionary basis that has led up to these real elaborate modern fish. These are still considered sort of not the most highly evolved fish. They're still successful. They're still around today. They're living out in these aquatic environments. So Gars. Going back to those really heavy plated scales, these ganoid scales. So that's what the sort of the body of the gar would look like. And gars are ferocious looking little fish, and some of them are not little, right? This is a long nose gar. It's got a long snout, and that snout is filled with all these little teeth. So these like fresh water, but kind of stagnant. So slow moving rivers or lakes that just kind of sit there. So murky bottom sometimes. That's where you would find these fish. Very elongated, right? Heavy fish. Use vascularized gas bladder as a lung. So that swim bladder, again, can function as a lung for these fish. So they do have gills. They have that operculum that enables them to protect and to aerate the gills. But in situations where they're deprived of aquatic fluid moving through there, they can use that lung as a supplemental oxygen supply. And again, these are, I'm gonna give you a size. They're maybe a foot long, a little bit more, but then there's other species in this category. The alligator gar, which gets much bigger. This is the formidable predator out in its habitat. So kind of showing you the habitat, that murky water. Again, that's a big fish. And again, alligator gar, because they kind of have that alligator snout with all the teeth. And again, it's kind of swimming around very, very slowly, and kind of very quickly will then get its prey. So they have bursts of speed. Yeah, so it's a close up. So that would leave a mark, That you can see some of these large teeth, and again, very, very effective predators. That kind of very bony head, bony plates, and all along the side of the body, that very, very densely compacted ganoid scale kind of plate in there. So kind of sister taxa, we call it a sister taxa to the gars, then would be these Emea, right? These bowfins. So this is Emea calva. Calva referring to like a bald, like no way that doesn't have hair. Well, they have this big bald looking head, right? So bowfins. Bowfins have that continuous long fin on the back. And this is a native species. This is an exotic species that has been brought over to the US. It's relative to the bowfin, but they call it a snakehead. Right? So I didn't come up with these names. That doesn't look too snaky to me, but there's the Emea. And again, big fish, they're good sized fish, sharp teeth, and they can put a bite on you. And I did not know that. I have an interesting Emea or bowfin story as well. I told you I got to work on fish for a while. Well, meeting some fish people and meeting one of my, a mentor, became kind of a real big influence. I kind of consider him a mentor as well. But he took us out and one field trip to look for Emea. He needed an Emea for a fish class. I had no idea what I was looking for, right? But we're out in this nighttime. It's dark. We have these little headlights. I'm in like knee-deep water, murky. Can't see, much, and all of a sudden you see him running across the water. There's one. Get it, get it. So we were able to net one of these. He didn't want it injured. He didn't want it, harmed in any way. So get it, get it, get it. So I get it, not knowing the bite that it could have given me. I didn't get bit, but yeah, that was an interesting evening that night. So if you were to see these in a breeding season, they're quite interesting. So the males develop this bright green, actually a very fluorescent, real pretty green, I think. So that, again, a reproductive male during the mating season of Emea. So again, small category of primitive fish. And then that kind of sets the stage for the biggest category that are the teleos fish. Right? So that's going to be a whole big lecture that we get into. So let me stop this one now.